Ran out of things to do in the post-apocalypse? Here are 9 games to try if you love Fallout. Most of the time, with a list like this, it's pretty obvious which elements of a game you want to celebrate. But in this case, a lot depends on which Fallout games you love. Is it the rambling, open-world chaos of the modern era? Or the thoughtful, evocative roleplay of the isometric originals? Well, here's some good news. With exactly that thought in mind, we found 9 games that have something for you, irrespective of what bunker you come from. And if you love both, even better. And before we head off into the Wasteland, don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G and ring the Vault-assisted notification bell so you know when our next upload lands. From story-driven classic RPGs to reactive open-world adventures, here are 9 games to play if you love Fallout.
Look, just be safe, okay?
If your favorite Fallout game happened to be New Vegas, then picking up Outer Worlds is a no-brainer. It's developed by the same studio, Obsidian. It has all the hilarious pulpy sci-fi you could want.
Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it.
And it's a chance to take your apocalyptic journey out of the beige desert and into colorful space. Despite having such a different look, it won't take long for you to acclimatize. There are still weird creatures to shoot at as they lumber towards you across the land, making you jump when they appear under red-leafed trees. There are still companions to meet, befriend, and lose when you inevitably raid a building with enemies 3 times stronger than you are. And there's still the feeling of exploring a future you probably don't want to be part of. No matter how many times people insist they just love Space's choice.
This is real space, isn't it? Empty and silent. I never thought I'd see the like.
Although the similarities might draw you in, it's the differences that mean you won't want to stop or retire your ship anytime soon. Obsidian has taken what we loved about New Vegas and updated it, giving you hope that even if the Earth is a wasteland, you'll be able to jet off for some new dystopian holidays, somewhere at least brighter, if not entirely safer. So we admit that the careful, considered decision-making and precise inventory management of the Fallout series isn't quite reflected in a franchise starring a gently obnoxious yellow triangle. But hear us out.
Oh, but this first part will require charisma and charm. And since you have none of those, just watch the master. Me, Claptrap!
Borderlands 3 is the perfect way to dose up on apocalyptic nihilism feels, but in a healthy way that lets you switch between ludicrously powerful fire modes. Plus, when you get tired of the beige sandiness of Pandora, the 3rd game in the series lets you just jet off to another planet and blow up everyone there as well. And if you think we've jetted off to another planet for putting it on this list in the first place, might we also direct you to the skill tree? Whoever your chosen Vault Hunter is, you'll probably be spending perk screen levels of time staring at the various upgrade trees, weighing up the respective delights of Phase Grasp and Phase Slam. Spoiler, Phase Slam. Always Phase Slam. Sometimes Mad Max gets forgotten. Not by us. We've got it in our most underrated PC games list. But this post-apocalyptic open world should be celebrated more when it comes to brilliant end-of-the-world shenanigans.
Not so fast, Buck. You ain't racing that funky junk here. That rubber ain't fit for my finery. Only speed demons on this track.
It might not be directly connected to the movie, but Avalanche Studios' Wasteland adventure manages to do something that so few games do. It makes open space feel alive. It might be sandy and barren, but there's always something happening in Mad Max's world. convoys of cars to yank the doors and windshields from, outposts that appear from the swirls of sand, hot air balloons to float away from the chaos in. Throw in the solid, shiv-packed combat and compulsive crafting and resource mechanics, and you get a fast-paced loop of burning metal and feeling like a god of screeching tires and nitro. And there's always Dinky D if you're flat out missing dog meat. Just know that he tends to stay home where it's safe. The smell of flaming fur, you know, it really stays with you.
Now stay.
Fallout is a bit, well, brown, isn't it? Like someone has turned on an antique-style filter for 100 hours or so. Well, the post-apocalypse of Far Cry New Dawn isn't brown. It's like a vitamin D supplement for your eyes, but with added pop rocks. It turns out that the nuclear end of the world actually has a lot more pink than you'd imagine. Like Barbie survived with a whole ton of flower seeds and a can of fuchsia spray paint. But that doesn't mean that Far Cry 5.5 is any less of the bandit murder party you're accustomed to. Here you can arm yourself with a delightful weapon known as a saw launcher, headshot goons with a bow, and travel across the verdant, end-of-the-world version of Hope County with your favorite pet in a sidecar. Yes, it's quite the Kodak moment. There are no real consequences for your actions, other than a glowing sense of accomplishment for checking everything off your to-collect list. But as sunny apocalypse sandboxes go, Far Cry New Dawn can't be missed.
We're gonna take everything that you hold dear, starting with your home. And if we can't take it, we'll break it.
It's impossible to talk about Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl without using the A word. No, not apocalypse, although that's obviously relevant here too. I'm talking about ambition. Because at the time of release in 2007, Shadow of Chernobyl was one of the most audacious games ever made. It's crammed with so many emergent interactive systems that listing them makes it sound like a modern game. Non-scripted AI-driven NPCs react to the environment, even when you're not there to see it. The physics engine employs realistic ballistics and skeletal animation. And there's even a dynamic weather system, so British people always have something to talk about. Not all of these systems work together flawlessly. The original release is famous for its game-mangling bugs, but if anything, they just cement its cult status. Ask anyone who's played the game, and once they're finished with the cheeky-breaky jokes, they'll regale you with incredible anecdotes about the wild, unexpected things they've experienced. In this respect, and many others, it's Fallout with the stabilizers removed. You might crash, but it'll be a brilliant ride.
How was I the only survivor?
Whoa, slow down, man. First, I helped you stay alive.
If the wastelands of Fallout are feeling a little too warm, swap them out for the snow-laden country of Metro Exodus. Okay, so there's still a desert, but this one is at the bottom of a dead sea, rather than the American wastes. Metro Exodus takes place in a not-so-distant future, so all the things that scare you about Fallout will feel a lot more real here. It also doubles down on the horror element, making a death claw breathing down your neck seem less worrying than a rogue park squirrel. You still have an arsenal of weapons to collect over your travels, but quite often a lack of ammo will have you creeping around mutants and whispering prayers for your survival. It's not an RPG, so you won't be leading the story, but your actions still affect others. Be warned, not all comrades make it out alive. But if you do, you'll have a gripping story to follow that intertwines beautifully with the atmospheric action.
So once you're ready, go to the port and invite Chris to join us. Then get back ASAP. We'll have to decide what to do about the fanatics on that bridge.
If you fondly recall Fallout 1 and 2, or any other isometric champions from the 90s, then Wasteland 2 from the original producers of the games will bring those happy memories to the forefront. Well, happy to play, maybe not happy for the characters you help. It's a true successor to what made the original so beloved. You're controlling the Desert Rangers, a squad you build to travel the wasteland, helping civilians and taking out feral beasts and gunslinging raiders. Of course, part of that means solving quests, but unlike your usual RPG, it's not just a case of turning up and getting the job done. Wasteland 2 is heavily skill-based, so each task requires something different. And like Fallout, you can solve a problem a number of ways. Or no ways if all your skills are too low, so a Mad Max-style goon shoots their way through your group. Maybe next time I won't just max out animal whispering. Those goats are cute though. Perhaps you spent your time in Fallout 4 perfecting your base, getting the corrugated iron just so, the menacing vibe just right. Well, if you love the idea of sticking to one place and making it the very best it can be, RimWorld is the post-apocalypse for you. After crash landing a ship on a new planet, it's your chance to start afresh and grow your sci-fi colony to perfection, whatever that may be. The AI is there to generate stories, or more accurately chaos, every moment it can along the way. Relationships will blossom and wilt after sordid affairs. Natural disasters are thrown in to stop you getting too comfortable. And cannibalism is always an option when things go wrong. Or the first one if you're peckish and not one for waiting around for disaster to strike. The top-down view will feel familiar for those who loved the first two Fallouts, but even later convertees will find themselves watching the blob people for hours longer than you meant to. That's it. Keep working for me. We will be the greatest empire alive. Oh, you're eating each other. Cool. 2019's brilliant Disco Elysium has loads of stuff in common with Fallout's new and old. It portrays rich, realistic characters and squabbling factions in a bleak, quasi-futuristic world. Like Fallout, it takes familiar schools of political thought and applies them to an earthy sci-fi setting. But whereas Fallout is content to let you wander the wasteland as an empty vessel, Disco Elysium's cup overflows. Every decision you make is a cerebral showdown against your own insecurities and idiosyncrasies. At the start of the game, your character is so hungover that you can accidentally die removing your tie. From a ceiling fan. I wasn't kidding about the overflowing cup thing. The isometric viewpoint and dice rolling stat checks certainly recall older Fallout games. But most of all, it's the depth and density of the world that are perfect for anyone who adores Fallout's detailed post-apocalypse. The detective elements and lack of combat might not gel with anyone who gets their kicks shooting the heads off super mutants. But if it's impeccable RPG storytelling you want, Disco Elysium is a perfectly unique alternative.
I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
So, those were 9 games to play if you love the Fallout series. If you're still searching the wastes for something new though, Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding are both coming to PC later this year for more Fallout-style fun. Let us know in the comments what games give you a holiday from Vault 101, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to give this video a like. Subscribe for more videos like this, and if you do already subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss when an upload lands. Just use VATS if you're unsure where it is.